Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, last session we learned few concepts about Formik library. So,
This meeting is being recorded.
the Formik library, how to use the components we discussed. I will just give a summary. What are the concepts we learned is about uh, how to handle Formik by using called use Formik. One more is we learned about Yep library for validations. Validations, how to define, and we learned Formic components also. Formic components are built-in components. This is the purpose of these components is already components are built. You have to just use those components and we can reduce the user interface as well as the interactions that we need to configure manually. So much design related logic we can reduce actually. So here we learned this technique, right? So what are the Formik components we are having? We have Formik and we have a form and we have field and error message. Error message. These are the components. So I hope you people tried this. Yeah. So working with Formik to handle, right? Now, after understanding this, here one more concept is there. Today we will see one more additional thing about this is form state validation, form state validation. Another concept is form state validation. How to handle the form state validation. So actually validation have two states. One is input state, another one is a form state. We have input state and validation state. That means we have two states, the input and the form state. So here, what is difference is what is input state and what is form state. It is there everywhere. Input state is nothing. Input state is verifying every field individually. Verifying every field individually is input state. Input state is verifying every field individually. That is the concept of input state. Verifying every field individually. The form state is verifying all fields in the form in the form simultaneously at the same time. That is actually form state. Verifying all fields Hello. Yeah. Is it audible to everyone? Is it clear now? My yes, right. Uh, Okay, right. So here we are having the validation state two types. We have input validation, another one, and state validation. What is difference is input validation is verifying every field individual. Form state is all fields at a time. Why you need form state? Verifying every field individually is okay, but why you are verifying all fields in the form at a time? Question understood? Huh? Why we have to verify all fields in the form simultaneously at a time? To handle some situations, like for example, we are having a form in that some 10 fields are present. We have a submit button. This submit button actually, this is a submit button. This submit button should not enable until or unless all fields are correct. That means now which field I have to verify? I need to enable submit button only when all fields are valid. Then which field I have to verify? 10 fields. That is the situation for form state. How you know whether all fields are valid? That is tracked by form state validation. Input state validation will verify whether that particular field is valid. But form state will verify all. For example, we have some button like save. This save button should enable only when they made some changes. In which field save button must be enabled when they make some changes. If they are not making changes, save button should not be enabled. So save button must be enabled only when they make changes. In which field? Any of those 10 fields. That means we have to verify all the 10 fields. We have to verify all the 10 fields and we need to enable or disable. This is called as what? Form state. So form state validation is also very important while working with. Now what is the point is, earlier we have to write form state validation also by ourselves. But Formik actually, Formik provides predefined it provides predefined services for it provides predefined services for form state. It provides predefined services for form state. Actually, form component can return the form state. Form component can return the form state, which contains services like we have services like we have generally services like seen, we have like dirty, we have like valid, we have like invalid. These are all different kinds of services. And it is not necessary that every third party have this. That depends. Every third party may not have these services. That depends. But Formik is having. What is the meaning of the word pristine? Pristine English only. Hmm? Where in English? Huh? What is pristine means? Hmm? So what is pristine? Hmm? Pristine means, for example, I will tell a sentence. Suppose in your I will tell a sentence. In Goa, some beaches are pristine. Means clean. Huh? Pristine means they are not touched. They are not explored by anyone. Nobody goes there. That is called as what? Pristine. That means they are not frequently visited by all. What is the meaning of pristine in a farm means? Your farm is open, but no changes happened in it. That means nobody touched it. That means pristine means there are no changes. That means nobody touched the farm. Just opened the farm. There are no changes. If any change happened, then it is called dirty. Dirty, these are all billion. Billion means they written true or false. Pristine means what? It is never touched. You just open, never touched. You click in some box and click out. That means it is not pristine anymore. It is touched. Dirty means you done some modification. You done some changes, then it is dirty. Valid, invalid, you know. That means any one field is invalid, any one field is valid. Right? That means actually the meaning of these terms pristine. So not actually. So dirty means modified. So valid means fields valid. Invalid means any one field invalid. So these are billion functions actually. All validation services written billion, billion true, false. But all services are not available in all third parties. That depends on third party. Right. So this is form state validation provided by Formik. Formik have input state validation. They have a form state validation. So let's see how we can manage input state, form state validation, how we can manage. So usually input state already we saw how to design a form state validation here. So let's check how to write the form state validation is. As I given in the definition, who will return the form state validation is. So form component can return form state. Form component can return the form state so that based on that we can verify. That means how to design syntactically. We have Formik. Inside the Formik, we have to create a dynamic expression. We have to use a form. It returns form. We have the form. That is the basic syntax. That means the return of form is stored inside this reference. That means, does this means return? It is a method, no? It is an arrow technique. That means whatever returned by form, we will capture and store in a reference called form. That means now what this form can do, it can use the validation services. That means form have like dirty, form have like what? So invalid, invalid or valid. Like this, we are having form related services we have. We can access them. And what they return, they return boolean true or false. They are going to return boolean true or false. That means in our previous example, we haven't designed this. In our previous example, we just created a Formik with a form and we designed. But now we want validation service. Service is nothing but this submit button should not work if any one field is invalid. If all fields are valid, then only this submit button should work. How to disable? How we can disable, enable the submit button? It depends on not one field, it depends on all fields. Then what we have to do now is here, this form, whatever written by this form, we have to capture. So I have to put a binding expression that we have to create one reference. Reference name is form, and this reference have to return the form. That means whatever written by the form, it will be stored in the reference of this. Now we can access its services and we can use anywhere. That means what we will do here now. How to disable, enable the button. Button have a property called what? Disabled. Disabled is the property of button. What is the condition? If the condition, what is the condition? If it is form is invalid, disabled must be true. Am I right? Disabled is a boolean. It is expecting true or false. Disabled must be true. Form is invalid. So we have form. We have form. Form is having seed dirty errors. So many options are there. We have options like is valid. We have an is valid. But if it is not valid, then disabled must be true. Is valid true means it should be enabled. But we don't have enabled property. We have which property? Disabled. That means we can write not is valid. Not is valid means it is not valid. Not is valid means valid. Not is valid means not valid. If it is not valid, true, then it will be disabled. That means you see now here. When you click inside and you click outside, it is disabled. Because name is required, one problem is there. Until I achieve all that, it will show disabled. And I entered some name. Now it is enabled. Others also I need to write required and all. I may not have written that. Suppose age we are writing, it is disabled. Age is suppose 22, now it is enabled. Mobile, haven't written any validation for mobile, I have to write. If I write, then it will be enabled or disabled. Actually, in my previous example, I asked you that you write the validation for mobiles and all. I written only for two. One is for name, another for age. Right? That means what is the concept is if you are not modifying, if anything is invalid, then it should be disabled. Everything is valid, then it is fine. Not only that, you can even sometimes people ask like, I don't want to disable, enable, I want to show and hide. For example, I am giving another button, this button save. This button should not display. It should display, save button should display when any modification happen. Suppose you opened a form, nothing is modified, then why to save? You see several websites, they give lengthy forms, just like passport, visa, government applications. They will give 3-4 pages of data to fill. And for every page, they will have a save option. They have a save option. That save is not enabled until or unless You do some modification. If you do modification, then we can enable save. Unnecessarily, if you are allowed to click the save button without modification, the action fires up, collects the data and updates without any change. That's the reason. Now, how to do that? Tell me how to show and hide this button. That means hide the button if it is pristine. Show the button if it is dirty. Dirty means modified. That means show the button. That means we have to use display hide style classes we can apply. So I will put a class, right? Class name. And this class takes a dynamic value that depends on a condition. What is the condition? Condition is if form is dirty, that means it is dirty. If form is dirty, what should happen? If form is dirty, that means some modification happened. Then we will keep the class as D inline, display inline. Display block means next line it will come in the same line. Otherwise, if it is not dirty, D block, D none. D none means display none. The class name will be display none or display inline. That depends on whether it is dirty or not. That means now you see it is not there. I done some modification, then it will display. If you are not doing any modification, by default it is not there. I click on submit, save is not there. Until or unless I do some modification, now save is available. That's how we can enable. Right. This is basic of how to use the form states. Right. This is one example I will give. Actually, it is valid. They are having is valid, is invalid. Everything will not be there in every third party. That depends. But I given a casual list. What is pristine means, what is dirty means, what is valid, invalid. Some other services, third parties may have all of them, some have only limited, but this all comes under which category? Homestead. Right? This is example for that. This is one example. Form demo.what.js. I will copy this form demo. So this is the concept about how to handle form. But remember, we are learning the concept. Now, once we know all the concept, we can implement in one real example. These are not real example. These are only concept-based topic. Example syntax I am giving. Because once you learn all the events, the handling of form, then we can start designing an example. Complete interactions we can design. First, you should know how to handle form events. So in the form events, we discussed about how to deal with React forms and how to deal with a third party. And what is the third party? Formik. There are so many third parties, it's not necessary every company have to use the same. Now, as a developer, you should be able to explore different third parties and use them. There is another third party very commonly used by companies, that is React hook form. We have another third party. We have a React hook form. React hook form. This is another third party. Now, I will do one thing. What we will do is this React hook form, I will give you explore by yourself and try by yourself from that official website. It is another third party, and know about the hook form and try to design by yourself. What I will do is in the next session, I will check what you learnt by yourself, and if it is anything change you have to do, what is the correct process, I will explain. Understood? So I am not going to teach this to you today. So it is your task. You go to this hook form official website, right? Its official website is this one. So we have a React hook form official website. So React hook form. So this is a hook form. Yeah. This is the official website of React hook form. You have to, I will copy this. Let me copy this. Yeah. This is the official website of hook form. You visit this website, read, learn about it, and come tomorrow. Then tomorrow session, check what you learned, what you have done. That means how much you learned by yourself. Then I will guide you with example. That means I will show you what is the correct way. Right? If you done the correct way, it's very good. That means if you cannot explore third parties like this, you can't manage in companies. Why? Because it's not necessary they have to use only these two. They may use another third party. Very popular, I told you, Telerik. Telerik is another third party. They can use Telerik. Telerik have different approach. They have another third parties. So many third parties will be there. A developer should be able to explore by themselves. So this I will give you as a task. That means you explore this, know about it, and try a simple form with validation by yourself using this, right? And let's see how many of you can explore that. Anyhow, in the next session, I will give you a simple example how it actually works. Then you can compare what you learned and what exactly it is. Is it same? Are there any changes to be done? Because these third parties you have to learn like that. In React.js, especially, we are not sure about all third parties what they use. We have to explore everything manually. That's the reason you try by yourself, right? Then tomorrow I will give you the solution how to handle this. So third parties of forms we have learned. Is that Formik, another one, hook form. Hook form we will see later. You try, see tomorrow. Again, I give an example for this. Now, next important for understanding, these all concept I explained related to form events. So, what are the events till now you learned? Keyboard events, mouse events, button events, element state events, timer events, we learn timer events, form events. We have another category. We have another category. We have clipboard events. We have clipboard events. Clipboard events. These are all concepts on event binding. These are all we are learning in event binding. We have clipboard events. Clipboard events, what is actually concept of clipboard? Clipboard is nothing but suppose we have copy option. What is meant by copy? Cut, paste. What is meant by copy? Copy means copies. Huh? Hmm? Copy means the selected information will be duplicated into clipboard. That is the definition of copy. Clipboard is temporary memory of your PC. You can even use the clipboard. Do you know, for example, suppose you are working in your PC or somewhere outside in some internet point or somewhere, some friend's computer, some important mail you got, you copied it, you pasted somewhere and sent. For that, how to delete that copied information from memory? It is still in memory. You forget that and went away, and the computer is still on. Anybody opens notepad and paste directly what you copied will paste. That means they can see what previous person copied. How to delete it? Generally, in your computer, you will have a clipboard. You have a clipboard. You can go to this clipboard settings. This is clipboard is nothing but whatever you cut and copy will be in clipboard. And in the clipboard, you have a clear option. When you click any software in this PC, whatever copied content is there, delete it. And very recently, they have very advanced features. Do you know? You can copy in your mobile, you can paste in your laptop. You can copy in your laptop and you can paste in your mobile. Across devices also you can do. They have given that option. Share across devices. That means generally sometimes one small message comes, we copy in our mobile, we want to use in our laptop. Then in laptop some message is there, we want to send to mobile, then what we do? Send an email, open that email, copy and paste that. You can directly copy and paste. That is clipboard actually. So what are clipboard events? Clipboard events are nothing but we have on cut, we have like on copy, we have like on paste. This comes under clipboard events. So we have clipboard events like on cut, on copy, on paste. And these are also very commonly seen. These are also very commonly used. These events also very commonly seen actually. So what are the clipboard events commonly seen? So we have, yeah, the commonly seen events. For example, you see account numbers, passwords. They ask you to retype. That means re-enter account number, re-enter password. Like that, they ask. Do you know in the text box where they ask you to re-enter password or anything, you can't paste. You have to type. How to disable paste? You already learned how to disable cut copy. Sorry, how to disable right click. Remember? No? I showed you man, how to disable right click. Same. Any event to disable, what is the concept? Any event, if you want to disable, you have to return false. If you make it return false, it will be disabled. That means what is the concept here is, for example, here we are having some design. Okay. This is the general means the other events we are looking at now. Okay. All these not required. Okay. So just we are having a data list, data term. So we have account something. And data definition, we have input is equal to text. And we have so verify account number. And this is another is input is text. That means now
This
copy
meeting is
this
being
number.
recorded.
I'm copying that number and I am able, we can paste that here. But we need to disable. You should not allow to paste. They can only type. You should not allow to paste. Then how do you disable that paste event? And as I told you, these days when you copy anything, immediately they show an alert saying that copied. Because generally in mobile applications, problem is we are not sure whether it is copied or not. We think that it is copied and we went somewhere and you click paste, it's not pasting because you haven't copied properly. These all status we can display by using which one? So we can do that by using these events, cut, copy and paste. So how do you disable paste? How do you learn the technique? How do you display messages like is it copied, cut or not? Temporarily, I will keep a message here. I will keep constant and MSG, set MSG. This is message and I will use it. We will use it and in this message is empty. We will keep the message here MSG. This message depends on we will write a function. So like function handle copy. Okay, so set message, you will keep a message, so number copied. That is the message. Okay, and here what we done. So function handle blur. On blur what we done, that message we will put as empty. It's an empty one message. Now we need to write for this text box. What is that on? On copy. We have an option on copy. So what is it? Handle copy. And on blur. Blur. We have to use handle blur. Handle blur and copy. Now what is the point here? We are entering some account number, something. We selected this. We may copy through any shortcut. Control C I am using. Then it will say copy. It shows that number is copied. And when I blur, then it is gone. And I try to paste here, it is working. But it should not allow to paste. Then how do you disable paste? So what you have to do in this text box, we need to handle a function. What is the function? Handle paste. And what is the paste function here? So that means we have to write on paste. On paste, handle paste. Okay. What we have to do is we need to disable when document dot on paste is equal to, we have to use a function and this function will return what? False. It will return false. That means it will not allow to paste. So what is the concept now? I will go to this refresh. But here again, why the problem is these cut paste related to actual do. We need to use virtual do methods to handle them, right? And see some account number we entered and we copied this. So it is copied. We click here and right click and paste. It's not working. I'm right clicking here and paste. It's not working. It's not allowing to paste. Here you have to type. You can't paste. That means we can disable any event by returning what? These are very commonly used when you cut, when you copy, because these days on mobiles, tab-like devices, showing status, because some shortcuts are in such a way that they don't give a confirmation whether they copied or not. We will go and somewhere try to paste, it's not working. Then we will know that okay, it's not copied. Again, go back and copy. To avoid that, what you can do, you can keep the status, and that is controlled by using this technique. Use the technique cut, copy, and paste. These are clipboard events. So, what is the concept here is simple. Clipboard is the temporary memory of your device where it keeps the content you cut or copy from any location, from any location. You can configure status on cut or on cut, copy and paste. You can configure status on cut, copy and paste. And you can also disable the clipboard actions. And you can also disable the clipboard actions. We can also disable them. We can disable cut, we can disable copy, we can disable paste. Syntactically, so we need a function handle ist. It uses document paste, a function that returns false. That's how we configure. So we have a input type text on paste, handle paste. That's the logic how we do. So how we can manage the clipboard related events that copy and paste. Right. So this is one small example. Same, I made some modification in form demo.jsx. So this is a simple example for that, how we can manage, right? So events, so many types of events for different type of requirements we need. So after clipboard events, one more important category, but you cannot try this. We have another category that is touch events. Touch events. These are new in JavaScript from mobile environment. They are used very much. These you will see later. Later, I will show you about how we can build interface for mobile apps. We will learn about a concept of React Native. React Native is to build interface using React for mobile. And when especially you are building interface for mobile, lot of actions are done with touch. So even JavaScript also have touch events. Because can you build mobile apps with JavaScript? We can. We can build mobile apps with JavaScript also, but it requires some additional frameworks. Then we can easily build. So only JavaScript also use to build. So, but mobile apps means usually mobile apps require Android and iOS. You have to learn Android, iOS. But what we are doing, we are building interface for mobile apps. React is not building mobile apps. React is building interface for mobile apps. Mobile apps, web applications, or distributed applications, we can build interface. If you are building interface for mobile apps, then touch events are very common. JavaScript can build actually. We have platforms like frameworks like Cordova. Cordova, it is Apache Cordova. It is very popular in building mobile apps with just HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Apache, Cordova, Ionic, so many native script. These are all frameworks. You can use these frameworks to build mobile apps with just HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Additionally, we need to learn one more framework that is like Cordova and all. So that means JavaScript, when used for this kind of frameworks, we need touch events because they completely depend on touch. So as of now, touch events, if you want to practice, you need a touch device. That means you need a touch device to practice the touch events. You need that. That means generally how to handle the touch event. For example, let's see one concept here how we can handle the touch events. For example, we are having some images already we have. So suppose iPhone black or something, a .NET DS something is there. Data science, yeah. Some PNG files are there. I'm using here Edu and class margin top. And here we have some image. Image source is ds.png and width is 200 and height also 200. Okay. Then similarly, we have another image. So we have class ME some 4. This image is suppose we have .NET. Okay. We have the images like this. We have 2 images. Now when I touch the image, I want details about that text. That means on touch. That means on touch. That means you need a touch device. You need a screen which enable with touch. Then you can't write. Otherwise you can't write. On click it will not work. On click you can write if you write on click. But on touch if you want, suppose below, I want to keep a heading. Right in the heading, so I am giving some message to display. I will use a constant msg set msg is equal to use state message is empty. Okay, we are writing a function. So get details is a function. We have an event argument, or we will just keep this get details like this. This should fire up when user touches this image. So for touch, we have separate events. What are the touch events? We have like on touch start. You have like on touch end. We have like on touch move. We have like this. These are touch events. On touch start, on touch end, on touch move. These are touch events. But one problem is there. The problem is these touch events are having browser compatibility issues. Some browsers cannot recognize these events properly. And touch event arguments are not like other event arguments. They have different event arguments. For example, how to get exposition. How to get exposition in any event. How to get x-axis position. Event have client X, but touch don't have client X directly. Directly event argument have client X, client Y, but touch events don't have directly. They have other categories. So a developer should know perfectly those touch related concepts. Then he can implement. For example, now as of now, tell me how to send custom data. Custom. That means I have to write on touch start. On touch start, get details. Okay, into that we need to pass our own information, custom arguments. How to pass custom arguments you already learned. We need to put like a function. So this function have to return. It should send. What it has to send? It should send the default arguments. That means suppose this is related to data science, and here so new batch starts something like some 9 August 2024, something like this. This is on touch start. I will copy the same, and on touch start of this here also same touch start, but this is related to .NET. That means .NET full stack. New batch starts suppose some 30 August, something like this. So this is some message we given something like this. You see now what happens, and we have to show the message. This message we have to collect. That message we have to collect. That means data we have to collect and set MSG. Whatever data you collected, that set. Now we have to display the message inside the heading. I want to display the message. That means that message we want to show here. Now see what happens here is I am clicking on the data science or .NET. I am selecting. It's not working. Then what I need, if I am using a touch screen, then through that I touch, then it should get the data. That means I am using my touch screen and I am touching that image related details will come. You cannot even practice this if you don't have a touch screen. It means you can't try that because you need a touch device, you need a touch screen. And I am selecting that and it is going to get that and display. We can do a lot of things. Suppose I drag and drop somewhere. That means what you done, you learn how small event I showed you. Get the x-axis position, y-axis position, and you can move along with drag. That means you're dragging, you can make it move. We can control animations. You remembered we created rotation animation, mouse over. This time instead of mouse over on touch, you can pause. Again on touch, you can resume. We can define these kind of functionalities. So this is related to touch. These are related to touch. So we can configure this, but these are not used everywhere. These are mostly used for mobile interface, like React Native and all. When you use there, these kind of events are very much used. So this is one simple example for that. I will show you what is new about these events arguments. Let's go inspect and go to the console. In the console, let's explore this here. So what we are doing is, I want to get the event argument also. You know how to send event argument by using what? E. So this E also we will send after the message. I will use E. You know that we can send default arguments, custom arguments. Now we have to collect the event argument E here, and I will use console.log and E. That E we are displaying. Now observe here, when I touch any image, when I touch that image, that event argument will come here. You see, synthetic event base. And what is the event name? Touch start. And observe here, this is having so many event arguments. In these event arguments, directly client X, client Y not there. Directly we don't have client X, client Y. All other events that you have seen, they have directly E dot client X, E dot client Y. But this is not having directly client X, client Y. So you can scroll and see it is not having. Now as a developer, we need to explore and check where these are present. Actually, you see they have a touches collection. Touches collection. It is having touch at index number 0. That means now what I will do is here E dot, there is an option called touches. Touches at index number 0. Okay, we will try to monitor that. And you see now, touches, and I will touch, and you will see that touches at index 0, it is having the client X and client Y. You see, it is having client X and client Y. That means X and Y positions are present in this location. So how to get X axis position where they touch, right? How do you get the X axis position where they touched? That means here we have to use E dot touches dot client X. Touches of 0 their client X. That means now it is going to get the X axis position and show you. When I touch anything, then X position it will get and show. So all events are not same, they will be different. That means we have to check what event arguments they give. In that event arguments, where is my property? We need to check that, and based on that we need to implement. So where they touched also we can identify, and this time actually touch event arguments are different from the basic event arguments, you can say, are different from the default event arguments of other events. So it provides touches array. It provides touches array. So the touches array, this array gives access default event properties like client X, so client Y, all this. Client X, client Y, all this. Just roughly I am defining. So actually what we do, E dot touches of 0 in that client X. Like this we need to access. So if we can do that, then we can create a lot of interactions like dragging and droppings anywhere through touch. Right? So same like mouse event, you can try them. So that means you have to use touch move. Touch move means continuously while moving. Means I hold down to touch and drag. Then we call it as what? Touch move. Why you need these X and Y positions in touch? Because usually what they do is, for example, you see on your mobile phones, you will find unlock and lock options. Phone is locked. Then what you will do from left to right when you touch and drag, then it will be unlocked. That means what you have to do from left to right, you have to touch and drag. That is just like mouse button hold down and drag. You have to touch and drag. That is which event? Touch move. Touch start means just you touched. That is touch start. You released means touch end. That is touch start, touch end. When you continuously moving, then it is touch move. That is touch move. Usually these are very much used for that situations. Like you see, in Windows will be there. In your mobile, Windows will open. You can simply touch, hold down and drag and place them anywhere you want. Right? All such activities you can perform by using this. For example, suppose here I am having some aside. Aside is having some advertisements. Suppose here I will put a paragraph, some ads, or I will just keep a figure. And this is HTML element, and in that we are having an image source, and this is m1.jpg, some JPG. So width is some 100 and height also 100. Okay, and this figure is having a fig caption. This is like ads, something I'm giving like this. Now, what should happen is this ads advertisement area, I'm having ads. So, this ads area, okay, so class border margin 4, and or just use border and border primary, okay. This is a simple ad, so W is 25. Okay, now I must able to move this ad to drag drop. That means I must able to move this through touch. That means I should able to touch and drag, and so that it will move. Right, touch and drag so that I can move this advertisement and keep anywhere I want. Then how you do that? That means we need to achieve that. So I'm just giving this. I need to able to move this through touch. Mouse we can do. For that we learned mouse down, mouse up, mouse move. I showed you already. Flag, when you are moving, it will move along with that. That means how do you do it? Touch. Okay. We will write function handle touch move. Okay. We'll get an event argument. So for this aside, first we will write on touch move, on touch move, handle touch move, right? And we will first check. So console.log, what is it? E dot touches of 0 dot what? Client X. You'll see the x-axis position, right? Now you see here in the console, I'm using this refresh, and in the console, I'm using touch and drag, then it should get that. I have to drag. That means only touch will not get. Only touch it is not coming. I have to touch and drag, then it will come. I'm touching and dragging, then the points will come. That means now what we need to do, how you make it move along with touch. Along with touch, how to move, already we learned styling. Na? So we will create a constant, what is it? Style object, what is it? Set style object, and what are the style attributes you need? Use state. We need an style related properties. What are the properties we need? Position. Position is one property we need. Okay. What else you need? Top is another one. Another one is what? Left. These are enough. If you get the position top left, then you can easily move any element. To move any element anywhere inside the page, the position should be what? Absolute, or position must be what? Fixed. Fixed position or absolute position, they will allow the position to move in the page. Left and top indicates where to move, right? So what we need to do now? So we need to set the style object. Set style object. Style object requires some properties. What is it? Position. Position is what? Fixed. Okay. What is the next one? Top. Top position is nothing but top position will come from x-axis, y-axis. How to get y-axis? E dot touches of 0 dot what? Client y plus px, pixels. Pixels is also important because that number will not be enough in CSS. You need a pixel. Okay, what is the next one? Left. Left position come from what? E dot touches of 0 dot what? Client X. So client X and plus px. That's the position. To whom you want to apply this position? This position should be applied to a site. That means for aside, we are giving style. Style is coming from where? Style object. Style object. That means now what we can do here, here I am trying to hold down and I am trying to drag, it will come whatever I want. Oh, it's moving to the previous. I moved outside. Yeah. I'll just move from here and I just drag and move. It will come to that location and it will display where I want. That is through touch. That means we are handling this through touch. These are very commonly used events for mobile based environment. These you cannot even practice if you don't have a touch device because for that you need touch. Only touch devices will work. Mouse you can't try with mouse. It will not respond to mouse. Right? Only for touch it will work. Right? These are generally used touch events. Why you need that client X and client Y like that? So you can try one thing. What we can do, suppose you put a box here, and in that you put another box here. In that you put an arrow here. Now, if the arrow reaches right corner, then unlock. That's it. That's what unlock option is now. That means in the container, if that hold down and drag, that arrow reaches the right edge of that particular box. That means you can show unlock. It is that means here the status will be locked. And once this arrow means you slide up to here. You don't need to show the arrow moving also. Just you slide up to end and release. Then it should say unlock. That means through touch move, we can calculate the position, x position. What is the x position? Suppose if it reaches here, that means some x position is 200, then it is unlocked. If it is 50 or 100, not. If it is 200 and above, then it is unlocked. You can try such interaction. So try if you have such touch device, you can try that. Right. This is one example of using the touch event. This is example. I will copy this example and this is the example for the touch. This is same form demo.what JSX. We are using this. In this, we learned how to handle the touch events. These are all usually React related event handling. So what is the summary of all the events? We have learned mouse events. We have learned keyboard events, and we learned so button events. What are mouse events? Mouse over, mouse down, mouse up. So I will give those list also. We have like on, mouse over, on, mouse out. So on, mouse down, and we have on, mouse up. Keyboard events. So on key up, so on key down, and we have on key plus. And button events, on click, on, double click, on context menu. This comes under button events. Now we have another element state events. Element state events. We have focus. We have like on blur, and we have on on actually select is there. That is on select start actually it is. These are element state related events. Select means you click and drag. That is called selection. Next, we are having what is it? Timer events. and on paste. And we have so form events like on submit. Another one is on reset, and we have touch events. So on touch start and touch end, on touch end, and we have on touch move, on touch move. These are all the events. These are all different events that we have to handle. There are so many, there are so many hundreds of events are there. These are frequently used. These are frequently used. Actually, in React, there is no concept like somebody teaches you these events, but we have just learned to get a clarity because these all events are same in both JavaScript as well as React. Whatever examples you tried there, you can implement here. So now by using these events, that means now you are clear with the important topics. We learned data binding, style and class binding. Another one is event binding. So we learned how to handle the forms and work with the forms. Now using these events, we need to try some examples. That means we need to try some example now. What we will do is we will see one example how we can handle the interactions design by using one small interface we will create by using different events. A small interface. Later we will go little bigger. Right? First we will create one simple interface. For that we will use the data coming from Fakestore. We will create a small interface and we will try to implement different events. Okay, let's see. We will start designing that. We will implement more functionality. I will add here a new component. So like fake store. Fake store is the component. Okay, let's add a new file. I will add fake store dot JSX. Okay, we will create export function fake store. That means by using all our events, we must able to create one design. So class, I'm giving this is container fluid. Okay. Here we are creating a header. In this header, we have a div in that span. So we will have a class, some fs3 or 4. Then this is like some fake store. And we are having another nav. In this, we have a span. We will later make them function. That means here I will use some electronics. So we have like men's clothing. So like women clothing. So some say fashion. And we have like some jewelry. They have the categories. Okay, now we have some another B. We'll keep the span class BI person. Okay, and we have another span class BI. Suppose heart, and we have span class BI heart. Okay, so actually this will keep like a button. So in that we will put a card, and this class is like BTN. Actually all are buttons only. So button and this also button. Just we are creating one example here. So class initially BTN. Okay, now here this is the fake store. We will keep the fake store in the startup. Okay, and this header is having so class name deflex justify content between adding 2. Just I give a border and some margin top too. Okay, this is just the design we are having. We have a simple background, so BG dark and text light. Okay, and FS4. It will be in this way, right? So we are having this, and actually this is BTN light. These are buttons actually that will keep these buttons. So BTN light. Okay, later we will make them function. We are just creating a design. Okay, so this I will give MX as to. And these are all the options we are having at the top. Now what we need to do is we need to make these work. So we need to make them work. Right. We need to make these work. So these I will give later. So this is class MS2. We have some gap. Now what is the concept is below we are having a section, and in the section we are having a nav, and we are having main. Okay, in the nav we are keeping this section class as margin top 4 or 3 and row, and this is have called 2, and this is class called 10. Here we are having a label do with a label class as form label. So form label and font weight as bold, and here we say select category. Now below this we need a do which have a drop down class as form select. Okay, this is the design we are having. Now what we need to do is get the data and design the manipulation here. That means what we need to do, I need to get all the categories from the Fakestore. You know already Fakestore API. I given the Fakestore API related details. In that, we need to get all the categories and display here, all the products display here. We need to design filtering, sorting, searching, and adding to cart. Everything we need to implement. That means we will use all the events now. First thing is we need to get all the categories and load the categories into drop down. So we are expecting categories. What is it? Set categories is equal to use state. Categories is an array. So it's an array of string type. So what we will do, we will write a function load categories. Okay. How to get the categories? Axios dot get http colon double slash fakestore.api.com/products/categories. It is going to get all the categories, and dot then we will put a response, and what we have to do, the response data we will set categories response dot what data, and these categories we will load at the time of mounting. So use effect and we use a callback. Now here load categories. That means all the categories will be loaded. Where to display them? Inside this drop down we want to display. So this drop down uses a binding. What is the array? Categories dot map, and read every category. For every category you create an option. And in the option we will have a key. Key will be category, and value also category. Value also category. That means you can see all the categories list will come here. It is coming from there and displaying. These categories I will display dot to uppercase. it will convert to uppercase, but the option value should be lowercase. Value will be lowercase. Only showing should be uppercase, but value will be lowercase because in their database they have lowercase, right? So we have to display, but by default there is electronics. We want all as a category, but they don't have any all category. So what we will do? If they don't have, we can add. This is the response data. It is an array. What we will do? We will get response dot data. It is an array. Into that we will push. Array. How to add? Push is last item. We will use shift, unshift. Unshift will add as first item. Unshift which one? Unshift will add first item. That means already whatever data is present, to that we are adding one more. And you can see that is added at the top and displayed here. Because in their list they don't have all. We are adding our own. How do we add? By using what? Unshift into the data we are doing. Okay. Next, we need products. Constant products. What is it? Set products is equal to use state. It's an array of object. Every object have an ID number. Every object have a title. It have a price. Price is also number. Description is also a string. And we have what else? Image. Image is a string. We have what? Rating. Rating is an object with rate as number and count also as number. This is the data we have in their products. Now what we need to do? We need to create another function. So what is it? Load products. What these load products have to do? Load all the products data which it is having. So here I will give Axios dot what? Get. They have API https:// Fakestore API.com/what? Products. It is going to return all the products. Then we have a response and we need to set products. What is it? Response dot data. Now load products also should load at the time of use effect load products. That products related data I want to show inside this main. So main is having deflex, justify content, deflex, justify, we'll use flex wrap. Okay, that is enough. Now here we are adding those products. We have to access products.map, read every product. For every product, we will create a card-like design. Div class as card, padding 2, margin 2, and every card will have a style width. I will give as some 200 pixels. Now, in this card, we want to display the product. Key is what? Product.id. Okay, here I want to display image of the product. That means I am using class as card image top, and here I am using src. Src is coming from product.image. Okay, after that we have class card header. In the card header, we will display the product name. That means here we will just display product.title. This header, I will keep a style. Height of this header, I will give 130 pixel something. Next, we are having class as card body. In the card body, I want to display a data list, data term, price. That means what is the product price? That is product dot what? Price. And I want to display its rating. Then here we will put, so what is it? Product dot rating dot rate. And we will put a span class bi star fill, and we will use star fill and text success. That's the body. We need another div. We will keep another div class as card footer. In the card footer, I will keep here a button and a class BTN, some warning and W100, and it is having a span class name BI cart 4, and we will have a button add to cart. Okay, now you can see all the products are displayed in the area. Here we will keep one more. This main will have style and it will have height. It will have height. Height I will give as 400 pixel, and we will give overflow as auto. Then you can see the design, the products will be like this. I will keep image height also same. So image height I will give as 120 pixel, that is 120. Then all the images will be this. And the header also height is some 100 pixel is enough. Card header height we are adjusting. And the main height I will give as some 500 pixel. Then the main height will be increasing. Now these are all the products we have. That means we are accessing the data, the products related data, and we are displaying here. Now what we need to do, we need to implement the functionality. When user selects jewelry, only jewelry should come. Right? That means we need to write and change. When user selects a category, only the category related products should come. And when user clicks add to cart, that item should be added to cart. Here number should come, 2 items, 3 items. And when user clicks on it, it should pop up and show me those items. I must able to delete the item. I must able to get the count of how many items are there, their cost. This we need to implement as a functionality with our events knowledge. That we will see tomorrow. Right, tomorrow we are going to make this work. Right. So then I will upload this example. Only design I will upload. Again, we have to add lot of logic to this. I will copy this design. This is related to what? Fakestore. Fakestore dot what? JSX. Right? You try. Then tomorrow we are going to add functionality to this. And I will give some tasks for you also. Means what you should additionally try. So I will tell you. First we will see basic functionality, then you can add all others. Then we will get a clarity on different events in one place. Right? That we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay? Right.